I got 6:29. What do you guys have?
Now we're good now.
All right. It's now 6:30. Excellent. It's now 6:30, and we call this meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg.
Here.
Trustee Taylor.
Here.
Trustee Ackerman.
Here.
Trustee Trujillo.
Here.
Trustee McLaurin. Mayor Ah.
We're good to go. All right. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance, please. All right. Does anybody on the board have a conflict of interest?
No.
Nope.
All right then. General public input on anything.
Lucy Stewart, I missed all your smiling faces while I was gone, but it was nice to get away from Bayfield. But I have a problem, I guess, because I saw on the Facebook page for the town on which they were going to spray for mosquitoes. Unfortunately, my subdivision wasn't on there. And the minute you come out of our house, you are attacked by all the mosquitoes. I'm pay every month for the mosquito control as you do if you live in the town. And I don't understand why they don't just spray everything if they're going to spray. My question, I guess, is to the town manager, do I have to pay for mosquito control this month since they didn't spray my subdivision?
Thank you, Lucy.
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, they did spray that subdivision. They did drive up and down. They didn't name each and every street, but they did drive up and down the Parkway, Grove. I know that Ranch was in there. There were several. They didn't get all of them. They're trying to do them in a way that they can get them done within a certain time period. They do it early in the morning. It's generally between 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning. In addition, we posted online in case there are people that do not want it. We then exclude them from the spraying so that they turn it off when they drive by their houses. It's not something that stays in the air and drifts around and kills them. It basically, anything that's up at that time, it knocks it down. And they do it early in the morning primarily because the wind is the lowest and you don't have a lot of drift. Plus the mosquitoes hide during the daytime. So if you can get it after dark, they do hit it. But I do know that they were out and they did do the spraying in that general area of town. They still have some other areas to go, but I know that it was done. And I got bit last night, so I know they didn't get every last one of the mosquitoes, but they're certainly they're certainly out there spraying, trying to knock them down. So
Thank you. Anybody else have a comment, public comment?
Hi, well, just real quick, and it was just that I'm Andrew Klotz with Silver Mountain Group. I was reporting to the last council like monthly about our progress on the infrastructure over at Cinnamon Heights. And so I don't know most of you guys because we finished that project, but I know you guys are at some measure going to discuss a contract with us tonight. And I just wanted to show up, just wanted to be present so you put a face with the name. And this is my business partner back here, Ian. And if you have any questions, if it's not an executive session. So
All right.
that's my only comment.
Thank you.
Sure.
Does anybody else have public comment? All right. Let's move down. Let's see. Bayfield Heritage Days and Sheep Trail Update.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, let's approve the agenda real quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
let's
One
approve the
G.
agenda first. Does anybody?
I make a motion that we approve the agenda.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Can we have a roll call?
Trustee Nyberg.
Yes.
Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Ackerman,
Yes.
Trustee Trujillo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Lyon.
Yes. All right, now we'll move on to Bayfield Heritage Days and Sheep Trailing Update.
Hello, everyone. I know most of you. My name is Rachel Davenport, and I am currently the chairperson of the Bayfield Heritage Day Board. And I just wanted to come before you and give you a little update on our event, and primarily thank you so much for being our partner in this event. And thank you to the town staff for the great meeting we had the other day. We had some great discussions and with every department, and I think that we'll have a really good event this year. Bayfield Heritage Day, I'll just go through this. I know some of you have definitely been to it before, but Bayfield Heritage Day is a family-friendly event, a community event to celebrate the history and the heritage of ranching and agriculture in our valley here. This year, our event will be September 25th and 26th. We are happy to say that we will have a 2-day event this year. We are going to do a community dinner and a storytelling event on the Friday before, which is the 25th, and we'll do that at the Senior Center. And then we will have generally our normal activities that we do on that Saturday. The sheep will come through town. The Super Shooters 4-H Club will hold its 5K race, which is one of their big fundraisers for the year. We'll have a parade. We'll have vendors and food and some activities and games in the park, in Joe Stevenson Park. We'll have herding demonstrations, and hopefully we'll have a whole bunch of more interactive and educational things this year, so I'm really looking forward to it. Bayfield Heritage Days is just started as a small group in 2000, so this is our 27th year. We almost kind of went under there with COVID and just, people get tired. But we've been able to really get some energy going this year, and we have about 20 volunteers this year, which is great. So I think mostly what I wanted to say was just thank you so much for being our partners. It means a whole lot to us to be able to hold this event and work with the town and the staff and other organizations in town to bring together a whole lot of interesting events and activities, and just celebrate our community and maybe make some new friends and strengthen our community. I'm happy to answer any questions. We'll have our flyers and our schedule will be coming out really soon too.
All right. Any questions by anybody on the board? I know everybody loves Heritage Day, and we're looking forward to it. Thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, and thank you to the town too
Yeah.
for
Our
hosting us
staff
and
is fabulous.
having the discussion that we need.
And thanks to you, since you've come on board, things have been much more organized and more succinct,
Thank you.
and it's been a pleasure working with you guys.
Great, and I hope that we can continue to grow the event and keep it going, because I think it does mean a lot to people in this community to have that information and to share, how we started and where we're going and where we've been. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Cinnamon Heights Real Estate Agreement to amend, extend contract action item. Would you like to tell us about it?
So, this is an action item to potentially amend the existing contract, which you all approved back in May, to sell these 30 units in Cinnamon Heights to 106 Pioneer, which is an affiliate of Silver Mountain Group. Appreciate the buyers being here tonight. And so, we have an existing contract. It was scheduled to close August 14th. They requested an extension to October 26th, and along with that, a new contingency to be added, whereby they are seeking a third-party developer to come in to help with the affordable housing, building the affordable housing units. And that developer is awaiting grant decisions that will come out in mid-October. So that was the primary impetus behind this amendment being needed. In exchange for that, we asked for a couple contingencies to be removed. They previously had a contingency for trying to re-subdivide the property prior to closing, which was complicated. They've removed that. A couple other things that are in the amendment is that the buyer would like the town to retain the fee simple title to portions of the property that are subject to a ditch easement to the Los Pinos Irrigating Ditch Company. And I think we're prepared to do that, but that's an amendment also. That's the highlights. Any questions?
Any questions on the board?
Were they intending to initially do the affordable housing build out as well? Was that all kind of one, or just keep
I
just?
don't know, actually, you have to, want to speak to that at all?
You want me to go up there? and
Yeah,
talk to
sure.
We were, but we always knew that we would, I'm sorry, Andrew Klotz, Silver Mountain Group, or 106 Pioneer. We were originally intending to do the build out, but we always knew that we were going to need a partner. I mean, to
Okay.
build out those 15 units is probably, $5 or $6 million project. And so there was going to have to be some state funding involved with that. And the partners that have identified have access to that funding to make these houses happen. So the first group of guys that we contacted, that deal fell through, but this is a much better deal anyway. So does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Any further questions?
So the town would be taking over this easement for the ditch, and we would be responsible for maintenance?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Trustee Trujillo, this is something we already have.
Okay.
When we bought the property back, whenever we bought it years ago, it's part of the property that we have. It's a ditch easement, so it's gonna be basically a permanent easement for the pipe that's in there for the ditch. It's just easier for us to keep it and maintain it rather than try to sell it off for this not useful property to anybody else, and we have the ability to do it. Weed eater up and back on, so it makes sense for us to keep it rather than. We're down two positions now. So we need to think about getting them posted. So we kind of already have a relationship with them, and we're working with them on some other things, so I think it makes sense just to go ahead.
Yeah, I think that does make sense, because I know in Dove Ranch, there was easements dedicated to the HOA that's no longer existent, so that created some problems, so the town having it makes sense.
All right.
I'm assuming that that's okay with the ditch company? No issue with them?
We're already the owners of it, so
Okay.
we're not changing it, it's the status quo at this point,
Okay.
so they'll still be dealing with us for that. Whether it is or isn't, I mean, I'm sure I'm sure they would prefer to have a permanent, towns generally last as long, if not longer sometimes, than some of the ditch companies, so we're there in perpetuity, whereas HOAs, as was mentioned, change, and you're gonna do that, so at least they always know that they're doing with us. If we have pre-existing agreements, it kind of makes it easier for us to just extend it to those guys. We don't have to change the owners on them.
Awesome.
Awesome. How's everybody feel on the board?
That'd be great to get it sold.
How do you feel about extending the contract?
I will motion to extend the contract as presented, per the amendment dated July 29th, 2026.
We have a motion?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Roll call?
Trustee Nyberg,
Yes.
Trustee Taylor,
Yes.
Trustee Ackerman,
Yes.
Trustee Trujillo,
Yes.
and Mayor Pro Tem Lyon.
Yes. All right. So now, John would like to talk to us about the 2027 budget work session discussion and your town manager report. And thank you, Lindsay.
Thank you.
And thank you.
So, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, members of the Board of Trustees, as I mentioned in, I believe, the last meeting, we're getting close to the time that we start working on the budget, and the way that we start that is we generally have a priority setting, a series of workshops. Usually it's 2 to 3 workshops where we talk about what your priorities are. We bring up what the priorities have been in the past. You might have additional priorities to add to that, and then we give you all the chance to vote on those priorities, the importance of that priorities. I think we give you like 10 little stickers and you go and put them up on the wall, and you pick the most important priorities that are out there. In addition, after that, then we follow up with the workshop that talks about the revenue projections for the upcoming year, and then we talk about the expenditures, and each department then can present their recommendations for the budget for the next year. This is a process that starts now and it extends all the way until, I think our official, the official due date of that is in November. We have to finish it. So we've got a little bit of time, but we like to start at least the priority planning in the summer. So what we'd like to do is for the board to start thinking about times to hold the workshops. I'm sure that Dustin will contact me to try to find what's the best day for everybody, and then we'll go ahead and advertise it as we have to do per law. But we'd like to hold at least 2 of those priority setting meetings in the month of August, so that we start kind of getting our head wrapped around all the projects that we've got going on, all the projects that are maybe planned, maybe some projects we don't need anymore, because that came up in the last session last year, that there were a couple that didn't quite make sense anymore, or we changed them a little bit. So this is the opportunity for you as a Board of Trustees, if you see some things out there that need to be done, or you want to put an exclamation point on something that we're doing to make sure that the priority is high, this is that opportunity that you get. It helps us formulate the budget, especially the capital part of the budget, as we move forward into the next year. Obviously, this year, there's a lot of stuff that had to be put on the back burner because of the situation that we had with our neighboring local government entity. But I think, next year, it's a fresh year, we're gonna start over, and that was only a 1-year hit to the budget. So I think we look at it with a fresh new look. You look at what was voted on last year, and either agree with it or disagree with it, and we move forward as per your priorities as the leaders of the community. So be thinking about the days. It is an important time for us. This is something that has historically happened with the town of Bayfield. The 3 prior managers did it a different way than the last one. I did it a little bit different than the last one. So I mean, it's each planning session has a little bit different twist to it. But the bottom line is, this is your opportunity to make sure that the important things that you believe and that your constituents are telling you are important remain that way as we move forward with the budget.
How long are we needing for one of these workshops?
Generally, it's an hour and a half to 2 hours at most. We like to keep it kind of short because, especially as we get into it, especially when the budget comes around, it gets kind of monotonous, especially when we're just going over numbers and things. But I would say an hour and a half is what I'm shooting for each of the 2 sessions in August. And we'll try to have it all ready so that we can come in here. We have sheets that we put up on the walls all around us, and we try to make sure that we focus items that need to be included together. There may be 2 closely related items that you feel are important. We make sure that those are put on there, and then the group says, yes, that looks good. And then after that, when we get all those priorities up there, we've taken the ones down we don't want, then you get the opportunity to go to vote. So generally, what we'll do is the first time we'll talk about all the priorities, try to get as many of those sheets as possible. Then the next time, we will take the staff will take it, and we'll put it in paper form. You can take it home and review it over the next week or 2, feel comfortable with it. You might want to add some stuff to it. Then we'll come back, we'll see if there are any changes to what we got up around the wall, and then we vote on that. Stickers on it, and then we prioritize it. And then it'll come before a formal council meeting to agree with what you guys, felt you came up with in the workshop. So it'll have multiple times to which you have an opportunity to consider it, and then there'll be a formal vote before a general council meeting
And Dustin, you gotta email everybody and,
Yeah, I'll email you all and get some dates going. We prefer to do the sessions not as included in the meeting because that'll make for a really long night if we try to do both, depending on what's on the agenda. So we'll look at setting it separate. And historically, it's usually 4 to 5 total meetings. So we'll do priority settings, but there'll also be a revenue and capital improvement meeting, as well as one toward the end where you'll see a draft budget and see if any changes you want to make before public hearing and final adoption.
And are we trying to do this like after work hours? Is that the idea here? I mean, I would say, I don't know about you guys, but I'd be fine starting early, and trying to do it before or something, so we're not doing another evening, but I'll let you guys opine on that too. 'Cause this evening's already, every 2 weeks is already blocked out for me, so it makes it, if I gotta add some time to that, that's easier than adding another night, so.
You mean like coming in early?
Yeah, like at 5 or
someone didn't like that.
coming in at 5 or 5:30 before the trustees meeting, I mean, that makes sense to me, but.
Yeah,
You guys, what time, you guys are finished at 5?
It's whatever the pleasure of the
Yeah.
board is, so we will make it happen. I think it's best, because you've got a couple of colleagues that aren't here as well.
Right, we gotta talk to everybody.
Yeah.
You guys need to feel what's best for you, get back with us and let us know what your best times are, what you feel, and then we'll try to get everything to where we find the best days and shoot them back out to you guys to make sure that it's good. I know it definitely is a draw on your time, and I know, we try to respect your time. So we have had them before in concert with the board meetings in the past, but as Dustin said, especially when we start getting into the budget portion, it makes for a really long meeting, so, that.
Yeah, I would think the first part, the priorities is something we could probably throw before a meeting,
You might be able to do that.
hour and a half.
Yeah.
That last time. We did.
You know,
But I
like,
think last year we did have one of them that was before the meeting, and I think the consensus of that board of trustees is I think they wanted to have it on a separate day because it was long, but then when we did have it on a separate day, I think we only had 3 people show up to that, so.
Yeah.
We really want to try to make sure we maximize, and this is another thing in that, if you have some important areas you want to make sure that you see that you're not going to make one of the meetings, make sure that you get that information over to us so that we can include that on the list, because just because you might have to work that day or something, we want to make sure that at least that information gets included so that when it finally comes time to get to the end, there's nobody that has an item that's been left out that the constituents feel are important, so.
all right.
on that note, I'd agree with Jeremiah. That we should just
We can try, everybody needs to.
double down, just go.
Yeah, well,
But that's
Like-
my vote.
like John says,
I know.
they'll email us,
agree.
everybody give their input, and
Yeah.
Dustin figure it out.
Yeah, and if you can't make the goal setting priority session, you can tell me what you want your dots on. Basically, we give you 10 dots, and we have all these priorities and goals, and then I can do your dots by proxy, and I'll share that with Manager Waters too, so he knows I'm not stacking the dots, so to speak.
All right.
where Dustin thinks they should go.
All right, did you want to do your report? Town manager report?
Yes, sir, if I can, real quick. If you go over the monthly report, some of this stuff I included because it was part of what happened during the month of July. But we continue to meet with our CDOT folks regarding the East Intersection project. I met with them today. The engineers submitted almost all of the final documents to the CDOT, which is a monument for us. Recognize that it's been 3 years since we pulled the trigger on that process. It will be done. I'm very, if I am a taskmaster, it's on stuff like this. I like to see projects move along. I don't like to share time with other towns, so we've got a company that's doing our project and maybe 25 others. I don't care about the 25 25 others. I want to make sure that they're proceeding on our project. So this is something you guys have waited far too long on, and we're going to push this thing through. My goal, and maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't, but I really want to have a groundbreaking ceremony before the end of this year. I think we're also going to be coming to you once CDOT finishes their process of going through it, which generally takes, they tell me they're going to rush it a little bit, so they're real anxious to get this done as well, but they would like to.
What's a
get the
rush for
process
CDOT?
done. Well, CDOT normally takes 6 to 8 weeks to review this, and they told me they think they can get it done in 5.
Oh,
Don't
wow.
hold them to it, but they really want to get it done. And I really appreciate that, because I know that they're stacked. I mean, there are probably, for our one project, they've got 100 in the metro area for every project that they have over here. So I'm thankful that they're interested in moving that forward. That will mean that probably sometime this fall, we're going to be able to advertise for construction. We've of course already got our construction management firm on board. That's Bayfield Engineering. They're also doing the third-party oversight over the project, and they are very helpful in getting this going. Their strength, remember, was working with CDOT, and it is coming out very well right now. I'm very pleased with how Bayfield is moving this project forward. They are, when I have a question or Jeremy has a question, they get right on top of it, and they get right to CDOT. And so it's been very helpful having them on board, and I'm very thankful that we've got somebody that CDOT feels very comfortable to work with. So when we do have to go out, when we do the process, is we bring it before you to advertise, to ask for permission to advertise for the project, to bid it out for the construction. We'll also probably do things a little bit differently, because right now it's taking a lot of time to get the poles and the metal pieces back. They have to be produced in America, and the lead time right now, I've got a friend that's been waiting 2 years for streetlights. That's how long it takes to get these things back. So my idea was we ordered those ahead of time, and Jeremy stores those in the yard so that they won't come in early. I think they'll come in about the same time, but if we wait and we let the contractor order that, there's a real chance that things will stop. And again, like I said, I know about stopping projects when things start, it costs more. So that's the idea. We'll probably come to you first with a request to go out for bids for the poles, and then we will buy the poles. The contractor will install them for us. Both of those will have to go to you, go out for bid, and then when we award it, we have to go, back to you guys for the approval of the awarded bid. And we will have an engineering company overlook that to make sure that they meet all the specifications that are required, and that the bids are vetted. So, but that process will occur this fall, and hopefully, like I said, we'll throw out some dirt on maybe a cold fall morning or afternoon out there on the highway to get this project going. And we definitely want to make sure we invite not only our board of trustees, but I'm sure anybody else that has worked on this over the past how many years. Definitely, I think our congressional delegation, and we probably want to include our our former congressional delegation members like Congresswoman Boebert, who had something to do with this as well. And then anybody from the, we want to make a big deal about this, because I guarantee you, when you go to the state, one of the first things is, my God, you guys got that thing going yet? Everybody knows about it. It's I think this district was kind of put on notice that they needed to get it done. And they're monetary resources and with time. So, I think we're going to see this thing get going here pretty soon. The next thing also that I'm going to mention is that as soon as we get that in the construction time frame, then the next thing I'm going to do is move forward on getting our engineers going with the one that we awarded the RFP to, starting with the designs of the North Bayfield drainage phase, the first phase of our drainage main conveyance. So as Jeremy mentioned before, we're going to do it's got to be a feasibility and preliminary or early design phase. That'll give us the information we need to have to then go out and get additional money for construction. You have to have a certain amount of engineering done before you can score on a grant. Otherwise, it's pie in the sky. So that's what we're after. You have budgeted that money. It's in the budget now. Hopefully it stays in the budget for next year, because we're going to be utilizing that to start doing all of the professional work that we have to do to get this drainage project finally up and going, and start solving some of those problems that have been plaguing us for the last probably 6 decades. I've gone back through a lot of the records. There's been a lot of flooding in this town. This just didn't occur overnight. It certainly didn't occur over the last 20 for a long time know there are certain parts of town that have flooded, multiple times. And I think we're all kind of anxious to get the flooding thing taken care of. But that's gonna take a while. It'll be a multi-phase project as was identified in the RFP. So just be prepared that it's gonna be probably at least 3 phases for the north side, which will basically take it all the way, if this is the way that the engineering company goes from, we go from Dove Ranch all the way down to the highway, we get the stuff along the parkway, bring that down, we put it straight into the river. So that all, it's a very simplistic way to talk about that, but essentially what our goal is stop parking in the neighborhoods above, stop setting water in those pools, because we know that eventually, even if it's not 5 years, it may be 10 years, those pools will fill up with dirt. The HOAs will disband and we'll end up having to take care of it. The best way to take care of that water right now is take it right down to the river and get it out of here. And so if we can find the best engineered way to do that, we solve the problem of the Schroeder ditch. For those of you that don't know, the way the Dove Ranch water runs, it goes right to the Schroeder ditch at a 90-degree angle. That Schroeder ditch is, I believe, about a third of the agriculture of the valley. That would be a major catastrophe for us, for the agricultural entities in town. We don't want that to happen. So again, that was Schroeder ditch. That was the Dove Ranch thing that disbanded, and all of a sudden the town ended up with that. And, this wasn't something we created, but we're going to solve it. It's just going to take some time. We're going to be out there really quickly. I did mention this to the prior council that as we start moving forward with federal monies that we're going to be asking for, we will need federal money partially. And there are a number of agencies that have them. We're going to need to be competitive, which means we're going to have to start talking to some of those folks that we elect. And sometimes you don't talk to them, sometimes you got to go further, sometimes you got to go further. And so just be anticipating that when we get to certain phases, we're going to ask for some of you to go with us to these legislators so we can talk. I don't want to and our board of trustees members that they're going to want to talk to. I'll be there for data, and we'll probably drag an engineer along with us as well. But our goal is to get this project funded and to beat out the other communities, because you got hundreds of other communities and counties in this state that we're going to be competing against, and they all have a lot of problems. And as you are aware, the flooding problems that we had before, numerous counties had those flooding problems in the last year. The fire problems are going to create more flooding problems. So we got our work cut out for us, but squeaky wheel gets the grease. And that's what my goal is as we get this information from right here, we move forward with that information, and then make this project shovel ready. We'll probably have to do an environmental clearance on it before it's completed, just to get the money for it, because you get more points based upon the readiness of your project. So I want to be able to compete with some of the bigger communities out there to get the money. On the housing, we talked about that today. That's been taken care of, and it was well explained. On the wastewater, for those of you that don't know, and a lot of people don't appreciate the wastewater department, the sewer plant basically takes the water that's flushed down the toilet, cleans it up to the level that it can be put back in the river, and fish can live in it, can swim in it. It's an extensive process, and it's not just a magic sewer fairy at the back of a pipe when you flush the toilet. It takes a lot of time and money to do that. And we have a permit that comes originally from the EPA. It goes through the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment, which is CDPHE, what we call that group here. And every so often, they give you a permit. They have updated our permit. They've put a proposed permit in the works. Part of the problem is that we've sat down with our engineers, they've looked at it, and there are a lot of things that we find problematic. One is they use the flow of the river that's not even a historic flow. Their critical low flow is nowhere close to what the Pine River has even been on what we've observed as its low flow. In fact, we have the data from the Water Resources Division to prove that. So that's one of the things that we're going to talk to the state about. We've also talked to them about some other things. They've required a lot of sampling for stuff that we don't have and never have historically had. Generally, that sampling is only required for towns that have a heavy industry. Obviously, we don't have any of that here. Well, there were several other areas, but essentially every one of those things that are on there, they like to stick on the smaller towns because the big cities have all the money to fight in court and everything else. We had our engineers look some of the stuff that's on there is stuff that we know is coming down the pipe, the rules have changed or whatever, we're gonna be required to do those things. Others, though, are just, well, let's throw it against the wall and see if it sticks. And, you know, we wanna make sure that what we're doing, there's a reason for why they're doing the sampling. Requiring us to do very, very, very expensive sampling at our expense, not to learn anything, is not very productive, especially when they're requiring, you know, frequencies of sampling that are, you know, 4 or 5 times what larger cities are. So we've made our comments, we sent them back to the state. That comment period is still open, it's online, if somebody wants to look at that, you know, member of the public can look at that. And, you know, take a look at what the permit is and what they're asking for. We submitted a 35-page response to them that basically has all the data that's on there. We didn't put something on there unless we had data to back it up. Ron Saba and Jeremy Schultz did a lot of work on this with our engineers to make sure they went through years and years and years of data, because we want to make sure we prove to the state, hey, we got the data, we know what's going on here. You know, some of the things that they did, they assumed this was a condition. Well, we have the data that shows it's not. They may just go ahead and tell us, yes, we have to do it. So, again, this is a common process that any town that has a wastewater plant has to go through. You know, this is the first time. This has just been, it saves up a lot of comments, but we'll keep you up to date when things move further down the road. If there are some things like the flow data that they decide that they're gonna ignore, we believe we've got the data to show, because flow is so important when you're setting limits. If your flow in the river is nothing, the limits are gonna be nothing. But if your flow in the river is a lot of water, has a lot more than what they're saying, then that changes your whole limit characteristics. So, proper data. Again, they may take our comments and go with it, they may not, we'll see. The permit period, I believe, is open for another couple of weeks, so. And then on the budget, journal entry. Probably unfair to lay that at the feet of the finance director, because those, had they just pulled a trial entry, had our audit firm pulled a trial entry at the very end, they would have figured out that a lot of those were due to a glitch in the Excel system. So I think we ended up with like 20 that were like that. So in reality, we ended with 11 right where they said we needed to be. But I wanted to point that out, because I kind of thought that was a little unfair to nail poor Kathy back there with that, and it was really a software glitch. We did report that to them, and they did have that information, hopefully they'll be and then, of course, Fourth of July. You know, those that attended, thank you very much. You know, we felt it went really well. We had a lot of great comments. People liked the music. They liked, you know, that it was family friendly. I got a lot of great comments about that. A lot of kids out there. They liked the vendors, and some of the vendors thought it was really cool that we included them. I think there was a wrestling judo club or jiu-jitsu club that was out there. They had a booth set up, and you know, they were thrilled that they were able to get out there and get some exposure. And I think even the high school, one of the football team had their folks out there to try to help out with it as well. So that's what it's for. It's for the community, and I'm glad that we had a lot of the, you know, really just folks from out of town bringing their food trucks. Some of the groups came down. The Heritage Group was there. They were selling those T-shirts, and I know they had a lot of folks coming by as well. So, you know, that's what we do. We do it for the community primarily, and it's great that other people share it. I wanted to share that as well. But I've had several questions?
The east intersection, is that just like creating the intersection with the lights and then like, or is it the extension over
No.
through the primary school to Oak or?
It is just the intersection, so
Okay.
it's within the boundaries of the state right of way. So basically, from fence to fence, that's what we would describe that. If you're looking on the 1/6, the north side of it to the south side of it, so it's fence to fence. And, you know, there'll be a little bit of an apron up, but not very much on the north side. There is a PUD plan for that north side, that has been, on the books now for some time. The developers are aware that that will be part of their development, be putting that up there to fit whatever project that they have. But right now, it's just getting the lights in place, and I think it's gonna help out with the traffic over there. If you've ever sat there at the intersection waiting for the. I sent John an email, but if he doesn't, perhaps we should ask them. But it's also just pull that off the consent agenda. Okay, it's just a few words. And as you probably remember, those of you who may not remember, the school is a participant in this as well. They did donate some money to us to get this going, and that's paid for a lot of our engineering as well. So they are definitely a partner in this, and we definitely appreciate the school district, and hopefully this is gonna make life a lot better for anybody trying to get out on that highway, especially when they start slowing that traffic down. It's pretty rough out there right now.
It'll really put Bayfield on the map. We'll go from a one stoplight town to a two stoplight town.
Talk about that?
Moving up.
Yes, sir.
All right. That was awesome. All right, we got the consent agenda. Does anybody have any questions about A, B, or C on the consent agenda?
I just wanna say
Mr.
thank
Mayor
you to
Pro Tem.
John,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
staff for all that information. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, I would recommend that we pull the purchase request for the WRC mapping off the consent agenda, as we need some input from our town attorney on that.
You recommend that we pull the purchase request for the WRC mapping. And would you like to say something about this, Josh?
Well, I think you have to pull it off the consent agenda first, and then I would be happy to say something about it.
I'll go ahead and move that we
Thank you.
remove the purchase request for the WRC.
We have a motion and a second.
We want a motion to make that, what would that be? For 6.5, make it the next item after the consent agenda?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I can do that. So make the motion that we pull the purchase request for the WRC mapping off the consent agenda and deal with it as a following agenda item between 6 and 7.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Knight. Sorry, Lucy, it's my mic that's cracking everything, so that's why I turned it down. Trustee Nyberg. Yes. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Ackerman.
Yeah.
Trustee Trujillo.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Lyon.
Yes. All right. So we have the Board of Trustees minutes and the July 26 expenditures. Does anybody?
So I'll move that we approve the consent agenda with those 2 items, the minutes and the expenditures for April and May.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Trustee Trujillo in a second.
Yes.
Trustee Nyberg. Yes. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Ackerman.
Yes.
Trustee Trujillo.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Lyon.
Yes. All right, so now let's talk about the purchase requests from WRC Mapping with Josh.
Yes, the point I was going to make, it's not substantive about the services that you're contracting for, but there is some verbiage in the terms and assumptions that states that The client releases and holds harmless from any claims against Blue Mountain Environmental Consulting and third parties arising out of the performance of the outlined services. The hold harmless language probably would be read as town indemnifying the contractor for any claims that could come up arising out of the contract. And beyond the fact that that's not great from just a business perspective, there's also a handful of Colorado constitutional and statutory reasons that the town shouldn't really be indemnifying anyone. So I would just suggest that the words "and holds harmless" be stricken from that before Mr. Waters enters into the agreement.
That makes sense.
Any questions or?
Not on that, I mean, that makes sense, but this is all due to that wildfire deal that we have no control over, and I guess fortunately DOLA has that money for us to use for this.
Yes, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, Trustee Ackerman, that is correct. This is what I had mentioned prior to when we passed the WRC. We would not be able to do this had we not passed the WRC. So this is basically not letting grass grow under our feet, no pun intended, getting out there and getting this thing done as soon as possible. I want to make sure that we have the most accurate map available. Fortunately for us, we have some data to help them get a head start. I was talking with our chief, fire chief, Bruce Evans indicated that they've got their hazard evaluation that theirs is complete, which includes a lot of these areas in our scope, so it'll help our company get a good head start to get going on it. The quicker we can get a good map together and submit it back to the WRC, I think the better off we're going to be as far as making sure that we have the most accurate mitigation and hazard map available. Because right now, I think everybody that's looked at the current one under the state WRC would agree that there's no rhyme or reason when you get down on the ground and look at the differences between the yellow, orange, and the no zone.
Yeah.
That's what this is for.
So I assume there's not a ton of contractors doing this type of work. I'm just curious how we got Blue Mountain and not seeing any others here.
Yeah, they have done 2 others in the state. There aren't many of them that are being done since the rule was just passed. But this was recommended to us by one of the municipal league folks. They have done other towns that just recently completed one. They're working on 2 others. They've got staff on board that are familiar with the process in which the WRC came about doing their mapping. This was one of the ones that, it was the only one that was available when we had contacted the folks after talking to DOLA and providing us this. Obviously, if we needed to go out and find some additional, we could, but time was of the essence, and we wanted to make sure that that state map, the less time that we have that state map is effective, the better off we are. So if we do need to go out and do an RFP for a formal proposal submitted, we can certainly do that. But, at this time, I think, given the gun that we were under from the state to get that WRC passed, everybody that submits a permit between now and whenever this new map is approved will have to be under the old map, the state's map. So they'll be subject to those requirements. So the quicker we can get the old map out of the way and we have our own map that we've produced ourselves that we know has been looked at on the ground, I think the better off we are. Because until that time, the WRC that we passed says we have to use the state.
Right.
So,
So the faster we get this done, the better it is for the town and the people trying to.
Yeah. So does this allow for a reduced cost at all? If, for instance, they get a bunch of information from Upper Pine that they don't have to go out and do, or is it just kind of a?
we had already informed them ahead of time that this was,
Okay.
they actually did reduce the cost. They gave us a higher initial proposal, and they dropped it to 6 $6,000, I believe.
5 or 6,000.
Yeah,
Okay.
so they have dropped the price significantly. It's now, it was 31 and some change, and now it's down to
27, 20,
27 or 26.
27.2.
I think it was like 32 and some change.
Yeah, I know they did drop it down once
Okay.
we had talked to them, but, I think it's money well spent, and, definitely, I am, every day that we have to keep that state map, I'm uncomfortable with it, so. If we do this study and they say that the state map's right, that's what it is, but at least we all know that we have somebody on the ground looking at it from a professional standpoint, not somebody in Denver looking at some computer simulation or modeling program that hadn't had a chance to come out here and actually take a look at the ground.
Yeah. All right. Any other questions?
Does anybody?
I don't have any other questions.
I would move to motion to approve this proposal with the terms stricken as suggested by Mr. Mack.
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, please.
Trustee Nyberg. Trustee Taylor.
Yes.
Trustee Ackerman.
Yes.
Trustee Trujillo.
Yes.
And Mayor Pro Tem Lyon.
Yes. All right. Now for a Board of Trustee reports and requests for future agenda items and committees. We'll start with me. I don't have anything, except that's it. Let's see. Trustee Ackerman.
Yeah, I don't have anything at this time.
All right. Trustee McLaurin.
No, she's gone.
She's not here. Nyberg. Oh, cool. So you'll be attending that, reporting to us and telling us how awesome it was. All right. Trustee am I saying your name right? Trujillo?
Trujillo.
Trujillo.
I was just curious to know who is responsible, like, for, like, intersections by stop signs, as far as, like, upkeep of, like, foliage and greenery and trees that are blocking stop signs and other, is it, especially kind of by these schools, now that school's starting to be in session, I've just been driving around and kind of looking at a lot of things that could be potentially harmful to students walking and driving and traffic and just line of sight. And I'm wondering if it's the school or is it the town, or I actually took care of my intersection on Cedar and Oak in the intermediate school the other day. It was getting kind of really crazy, and I went out there with my weed whacker and trimmer and clippers and took care of it all. But I'm just curious, can we get that taken care of, or?
Mr. Pro Tem, Trustee Trujillo, it depends. Depends on which, if it's in the town, Public Works takes care of that. So definitely if it's something that is within the community, and to be honest, sometimes we end up having to go out there and do it anyway. Another reason why we have to have those places. But, definitely let us know the areas that you think are problematic. You can contact Jeremy and let him know, or Mark, either one of them, and then they'll make sure that gets on the schedule to trim it back. If it's on private property, we can't really touch it, but if it's hanging over into our right-of-ways, we do trim it back. We do it for a number of reasons. Safety's one of them, but also when we go through and we do our snow plowing in the wintertime, when you have stuff sticking out into the street or hanging over the street, it causes problems as well. So we like to keep that trimmed up. Sometimes people do, like they're, if it's a tree that's planted in front of their house, that they'll go out and they'll trim it up sometimes, and that helps us out quite a bit. But the ultimate responsibility is if it's in a city street, it's our Public Works Department. So do let us know. We also run mowers. You've probably seen us along the parkway there. When the grass gets a little high, it's kind of a fire hazard. So we want to make sure that we go out there and we mow it. And so you'll see our mowers out there occasionally running up and down areas that are becoming problematic. But again, we generally don't go into people's yards, and we don't go into the county unless it's becoming a real big problem, and then we'll probably just quietly go out there and take care of it. Even though county should be taking care of it sometimes, but that's.
I mean, there's an easement, right? Like,
Yes,
like-
there's most places there are. And it depends on where you are, depending on how wide the easement is, and that's certainly something that Derek can, find out where that is. But, the larger roads have larger easements on them. And you also have easements that are related to, like we talked about earlier, a pipeline in the ground or, telecommunication lines and things like that. So sometimes those need to be maintained as well. If they're city-owned, we maintain them, so we'll run a brush hog down there and clean it all up and clear it out. But sometimes we need somebody to tell us if they see that there's a problem area. So
Okay.
feel free to give Jeremy or Mark a call, and they can get it hooked up.
Yeah, my concern is just the kids. Like, I just don't want to see anybody hurt. So,
We do have some trees that reach out and grab you sometimes. I've walked on a couple of streets that, there's a couple that you're not watching yourself.
cool. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Taylor.
Well, a couple meetings ago, we approved the intent to annex that portion of 160, the portion of 501. And I believe that what you said at that point was that the next step in that was to reach out to those agencies, to reach out to CDOT and to reach out to the county and so on. And I just wondered how that's going. Where are we at with that process?
It will be heard at the Planning Commission next Tuesday.
Okay.
So that's, I mean, the intent was, the very start. I actually had to push stuff back about a month, because originally it was going to be in the July Planning Commission and the second meeting of July Trustees, but the notification time period just wasn't going to fit. So to kind of play it safe, so it'll be on the 11th, so Planning Commission next Tuesday, then the Trustees the Tuesday after that. Everybody who needed to be notified has been notified. Reached out to CDOT and the county and everybody. They've gotten their letters. Only thing I've heard so far is just some phone calls from people who have received the letters that live either along or 200 feet away and just want to know what it is. And when I clarify it for them, they're over here like, I already thought it was a part of the town, or I already thought, yeah, if it's, yeah, it makes sense. That's what I've heard so far.
Okay, now, dates of interest. The 6th of August, the block party at 6 p.m. Dustin.
Yes, sir. Last block party of the year. We did go to 2. It seemed to work better last year, the 4th of July and everything. So this is the last one of the year for us, and really our last event until homecoming and heritage days. And we don't even really run those. We're just partners in those events. So yeah, if you guys want to come out and listen to Agave and enjoy the beer garden and the vendors, yeah. It does technically start at 5:30, but gets swinging a little more around 6 p.m. when it gets a little cooler out.
All right, excellent. Next Board of Trustee meeting will be the 18th